All right, good morning guys. So this morning in the workshop we've got a Land Cruiser 200 series. This particular customer is running our old battery, so the 100 amp hour batteries, as a dual battery system in this vehicle. It's coming up to 5 years, exactly 5 years this month, so December 2025. He's looking at upgrading these to our new generation of hybrid batteries. And obviously we've got a kit developed specifically for this car. So LC200 that runs these two batteries. So we're going to pull the old batteries out this morning and upgrade him to the new batteries, and go over a couple of things to be mindful of when you're putting this system in. Pick up a few things that we don't like with this existing install as well. Alright guys, so we pulled out the old 100 amp hour marine batteries. Now, obviously nothing wrong. The car's still driving, everything's still fine, the battery's still operational. A couple of things I want to point out. A lot of guys get a bit confused, but this battery's been in the engine bay of a 200 series Land Cruiser for 5 years. This is what batteries look like after 5 years, right? That's completely normal. The cases are a tiny bit swollen because they bulge out, because the plastic obviously changes shape over time as it's heat cycling, and that's perfectly normal. So nothing wrong with these batteries. That's what batteries look like, and they're still functional batteries. Now we've dropped in the new 130 amp hour hybrids. These are obviously the Gen 2 hybrids, and you can see how snug they fit. Perfectly designed for the engine bay of these cars. We chose these cases back in the day specifically for these engine bays. So that drops in. We put in some uni lugs, so you're getting a positive uni lug in here and on the negative side as well, and that gives you your 2 up posts. So it's just a lot easier to lug up all your connections and not really use SAE adapter posts and these kind of traditional clamps, because it doesn't give you the best connection. So the uni lugs are far superior, giving you a much tighter connection, more surface area. You have a proper clamp. You can see the size of these things. Once these are torqued up, they're never going anywhere, and you're going to get a nice sturdy and really good connection. Now on this vehicle, this happens a lot of the time. You got to read the installation instructions, and the two batteries are wired in permanent parallel. So you need a positive parallel cable and also negative parallel cable. Now out of the factory, Toyota only gives you a positive. Okay, so you're getting this positive parallel cable in, and you need to add the negative. Now, unfortunately, this particular customer has run without the negative cable for 5 years. It's not good because obviously the batteries don't equalize properly. App readings are not going to be accurate between the two batteries, because one's being ground somewhere through the chassis and the other one's being charged directly off the alternator. So the correct way to connect batteries in parallel is having them side by side using buzz bars. Here in a vehicle where they're 1.5 meters apart from each other, you need sound parallel cables. And basically those cables should be equal length, as short as possible, and that way the two batteries are going to be nice and happy. So before these went in, we removed the plastic drip trays out of the bottoms, just so you don't get the extra deck height, because when you install the laser cut brackets that we supply for this kit, you need to have a nice flush deck height. So you can see how that sits completely parallel in the vehicle. And that way you're not going to over tighten, bow the cases or anything like that. It's all going to bolt up nice and clean. So we're going to bolt in the brackets now, secure the batteries in place, and then we're going to clean up the some of the wiring and then program the battery protect. So that's what we're going to do next. So that's just dropped in, lightly tightened. I'm going to torque it up properly now. So this side of the car, nice and firm. And then on this side, so just looking at that deck height, battery's still moving a little bit, that's good. So 4 Newton meters. Okay, that's already pulling in now, it's getting tight. So just a tiny bit more. Okay, that's it. The battery is no longer moving. Okay, that's as tight as you want to go. And then we'll just put another bolt on that to lock it into place. Ain't going anywhere. Righto guys, so we've got the 2 new batteries dropped in, we've got the bracket holders in, we've got the uni lugs in, we've got all the factory circuits, all the accessories, everything back in how it was. We've still got the negative cable to do, so the positive parallel cable is in, and now we're going to rig up a new negative cable because it's missing from the original installation, so that's super important. So we're going to do that now, and then we're basically finished. Then we're just going to commission the batteries, check the Smart Battery Protect settings in the back of the car, make sure they're all sweet, and this customer's good to go. So I'm just going to sneak a couple of cable ties in there. You're blocking that gap with the conduit, so you actually improve the airflow a little bit to the radiator, and not just relying on that sponge. Cool, everything's saddled in, wired up. Pretty much done, man. I put my name on that install, that's a beauty. All right, so final piece of the puzzle during the install, hook it into the Smart Battery Protect, which is in the back of the cabin here, next to all the Anderson plugs. So when you first connect, you're gonna have to do a firmware update. Now once you finish the update, you go into the settings, you're gonna go to preset, okay, and this particular unit is an old one, and we can set user defined. Okay, so user defined, and then we're going to shut down the batteries at 12.8, but you need to set your restart voltage first. All right, so restart at 13 volts. Okay, gives you the green tick, and then we're going to shut down 12.8. Okay, tick tick. And that's basically it, that's done. Not touching any of the other things in there. And that's it, that's programmed, and now it's ready to be handed over to the customer. They can go away and go touring, and everything's automated. All right, so the new batteries are in, everything's wired up, the load disconnect's programmed, customer's all good to go and tour away. Now, one last little thing is, obviously these batteries come with our 20 amp MPPT charger. So it's got an internal regulator, the charger's internal inside the battery. This is the harness that you get. So Anderson plug at one end, and the aviation waterproof connector that goes into the battery. So I'll just quickly show you guys from the factory. That's your dust cap metal enclosure for the MPPT charger. As you can see here, it's got a maximum input voltage of 80 volts. Okay, plugs straight into the battery. And you can sneak the Anderson plug away, cable tied away, and you can plug in and out of this now with portable panels, or you just wire it to a permanently installed panel on the roof of the car. So if you're getting this battery system for full-time touring, and you've got a drawer system in the back and whatever else, maybe a rooftop tent, get a good sized panel for the rooftop tent. To maximize this sort of charger, you want sort of 400 plus watts of solar coming into it. Otherwise, yeah, get your favorite blanket, throw it over the windscreen when you're parked up or over the top of the bonnet, and you can plug in and out of these Anderson plugs now, no problems. So that's the full system, the install, the things to think about, the negative cable that's in here now along with the positive, and everything's programmed, run properly. The winch has got one negative up onto one battery and one positive onto the other as well. So your big loads are wired in balance. And that's basically it, guys. So happy touring, and we'll see you guys out in the tracks.